I'm Mackayla. Welcome to the Soundtrack of Our Lives podcast. So, we're going to kick things off with the hardest question of all. Who are you and what have you been up to lately?
So I'm Jack Cash, and lately I've been working with my band Vesper Rose. We just released a single, and we're slowly going to be releasing singles throughout the year, and kind of just focus on playing shows and just Los Angeles area for at the
Mhm.
moment.
Yeah, so your single came out in January, I believe. Um,
Yes.
so what has that been like? Because it's your first ever song that you guys have put out.
It's gotten a really good response. I think as far as like I'm sorry, what's going on? Okay. No, so far it's been a really good response. It's especially from like the sort of horror punk community, LA area. This song is a little bit of a throwback of kind of everything like I listened to in high school.
Hmm.
Because we've gotten a lot of comparisons to like AFI or like MCR, and of course like the Misfits, the kind of godfathers of like horror punk, if you will. Um, so no, it's been really good so far.
So, were those bands some of the inspiration, or was it other bands?
Definitely kind of the Misfits at the core. What's a little different with Vesper Rose is I was in a band a few years ago that was just it was a Halloween joke where I wanted to do Misfit songs and my friend at the time wanted to do Smith songs.
Hmm.
So we kind of combined both the bands and we called it the Miss Miss. And that was just really popular. And then after a few years, I was like, we should do like some original songs of kind of both the bands.
Hmm.
And we did a record. And, long story short, there was a little bit of a falling out. And I was also in like two other bands at the time. And I was like, I'm doing so much and spreading myself so thin. So I'm
Hmm.
like, I kind of want a band where I can do a little bit of the horror stuff and also kind of implement more influences that other than just like the Smiths. So like The
Hmm.
Cure and Bauhaus and Sisters of Mercy. So Vesper Rose is kind of, I guess, horror punk as sort of our catalyst, but like, it's a little new wavy, it's a little 80s, and just also a little more active rock
Hmm.
than just being a quote unquote punk band.
Yeah. So, are the upcoming singles going to be similar to Autumn Leaves?
Um, a little bit. So, well, let me think. What's the next one? The next single is gonna be. We have two. We're gonna do like sort of like a double feature. So we have
Hmm.
the Wolfman, which is a little more heavy driven rock. So if you like the Scandinavian band like Turbo Negro or something, it's a little more rock and roll
Hmm.
kind of 50s. And then the next single after that will be Bloody Mary, and that's a little closer to like The Cure. It's a little pop punk and a little closer to like the Smiths.
Hmm.
And I don't yell the whole song. Autumn Leaves is a little more intense, and
Hmm.
so is the Wolfman. So Bloody Mary's a little bit more sing-songy, and I'm not like blowing my throat out trying to sing the chorus.
That's always important.
Yeah, which it's kind of like sort of my answer to like when I was doing more like hard rock bands. It's like, okay, now we need a slow mid-tempo song, and it ends up being like the 5 or 6 minute ballad.
Hmm.
So instead of doing that, I'm like, I would like to do some more Cure-ish, Smiths, Morrissey sounding stuff.
Hmm.
So to kind of mix it up, and I liked the dichotomy of the last band where it was sort of like we'd go really hard and do a Misfit song, and then the crowd would like slow down and start dancing to doing a Smith song. So that's yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important for both the crowd and everyone on stage to have a song that they can just kind of relax a little bit instead of going super hard the entire night.
Yeah, I mean, like I love Slayer and I love Motorhead and I want to just go heavy all the time, but personally, I just get I get bored. And my bass player, Gecko, put it best. He's like, so when we do set lists, he's like, we basically just write Greek tragedies where it's like we start heavy and then it's a little mid tempo and then we try to drag you down. Maybe we'll go to like drop D or something. And then we'll hopefully finish with, I don't know, something rock and roll. So it leaves you with like a little bit better feeling than just everything is depressing and dark, you know?
I like that. That's a really cool way to like put how you're like how you're putting your set list together. So, for somebody who hasn't seen you live, what can they expect from a Vesper Rose show
Um,
aside from the Greek tragedy?
I think just I mean I'm much more of I'm getting used to being in the studio, but as far as live goes, I've always been sort of uh somewhat of a ham on stage. You know, it's like we play a little bit darker music and I'd like to be more brooding and mysterious, but I'm not really. I'm just kind of a dork. But like live, I think is when I kind of switch into like um I guess your alter ego. So
Hmm.
like, you know, rock and roll show and everyone's, you know, kind of, you know, strutting around like Mick Jagger
Yeah.
and stuff. But no, I think our shows are fun. I think more than anything, you're gonna go and you're gonna have a good time. Sometimes we'll try to like mix up, throw in some covers. I like to do like mashups with songs. So we have the song Stranger that's a little more like hard, like fast punk, and then we'll go into like Pink Pony Club by Chappell Roan, and people like, you know, like I like to do some unexpected
Hmm.
stuff where it's not just like we're gonna cover a Misfit song and like you assume we're probably gonna do a Misfit song because
Hmm.
it's obviously a heavy influence. Um, Sorry, that was a long-winded way of saying like you're gonna have a good time. It's exciting. There's some highs and lows, obviously, with the tragedy. But you know, it's I try to put on a show that I would want to go see.
Hmm. What kind of shows
Yeah.
do you like to see?
Let's see. Other than punk, like normal punk shows, there's a band. I don't know if they still play, but Squad 50 was a huge influence on me.
Hmm.
And when I saw them, it's a southern rock band um, who started out as a ska band and then they progressively got into rock and roll. But Jeff Fortson, maybe just because he's like a southern boy, but like he would just go out there and he would just like kind of do like the spirit fingers and you'd almost think you're at like some Southern Baptist revival and he would just command the crowd. And I was like, that's so much fun. If he was like, I don't know how he'd do it. He'd just be like, if he told you to sit down, everyone would just sit down. Like people that never even seen the band weren't even fans. They're like, okay, we're gonna sit down. Okay, and when I do this, we're gonna go crazy. And I think, yeah. So if I could, I would see Squad 50 every night. Um, Obviously, The Cure. I finally got to see them like a year ago, and it was amazing. Surprise! It was really good. Just not just because it was The Cure, but like they played for like 3 hours, and I'm so used to just kind of running around in a show. But I was just so in awe, and I was like, "This is amazing!" And I wasn't, you know, usually if I sit still for more than like 5 minutes, I fall asleep. Like my ADHD is like if we're not
Hmm.
working or doing something, then it's like we're going to sleep. The other show I saw Queens of the Stone Age. I saw a bunch of bands I haven't seen, like or was never able to see like the
Hmm.
past like couple years. So I saw
It's so
Queens of the
fun.
Stone Age, and I was just like, they're so good, and not just from like the audience level, but just as musicians, I was like,
Hmm.
they're just so fucking cool. Like I wish I looked that cool on stage, like just so nonchalantly, just awesome. And Josh Homme's just a great he's just so great like with the crowd and
Hmm.
witty and I was like I wish I was sometimes I guess I could be witty but for the most part I'm like I wish I could be that witty on
I feel like
stage.
probably comes with practice, you know?
This is true.
I'm sure
um
you will be at some point.
I hope so, but that's probably why half of our songs we just like I don't like speaking to the crowd too much,
Hmm.
especially if it's not like if you're not a famous band or you're not a huge band. Like I'm not one of those singers that's like, how's everybody doing Hollywood? Like I'm just like, bro, we're at the Viper Room, there's 20 people here, like just let's get to the next song.
Yeah. Gotta feel,
But
yeah.
that's just me personally. If you want to do that, you should do that if you want to. But that's not me as a I'd rather
Yeah.
just 1, 2, 3, 4 like a Ramon song and just go into the song and let the audience decide if they like us or not.
Hmm. Yeah, you also can't, like, you shouldn't be fake up on stage either.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite venue that you guys have played at?
Favorite venue. We've only done like 5 or 6 shows.
Hmm.
Um, I would say at for this band probably the Viper Room. just because I just love playing there. It's a great smaller club. It always sounds great. Um, it's actually this, when is it? On Sunday, it's going to be our new bass player's debut.
Exciting.
So yeah, that was we got thrown a curveball with our last bass player because the band's only been around since maybe like mid-July
Hmm.
last year. So we've been working in the studio and practicing and working on, just writing, working on songs, and then out of the blue, our bass player just he's like he had to quit. And so for a month and a half, I was like, I hired one guy, our friend, we met this great Australian dude named Luke who played guitar. So I learned the bass to get through a couple gigs. And so half of our shows have been without me playing guitar or the right bass player. Um, uh, so sorry, I had to think. We really haven't played that many shows. We're gonna play Bar Sinister on May 31st. I love playing that venue. That's probably a close favorite.
Hmm.
But yeah, as of now, we've only got a handful of shows, and most of them were dive bars because like, we're new and getting to like know each other. Like, let's just play a bunch of dive bars and just kind of get used to playing just together as a band.
Yeah. And then again with the right members, with everybody there.
Yes, with everyone on their proper instrument.
So speaking of, writing music, what does that process look like for you guys?
Um, let's see. Every song starts a little different. I think in an era where everyone can record their own demos at home, um, it's super helpful. But at the same time, like this is the first band where I've really like just gone in the room in rehearsal and we've all just sort of jammed.
Hmm.
Like, and maybe it's an LA thing where it's just like I want to get to rehearsal because I've got another gig to go to, and you're kind of like always in a rush. With this band, we do demos on the side, we'll have a riff, but a lot of times we'll just jam on something for like, 30 minutes to like an hour, which has been really nice just to sort of, you know, I think that you kind of find your camaraderie, so to speak, or your musicianship. And like, oh, like, Anthony likes to do this kind of like drum beat. So this will probably sound good.
Hmm.
And Gecko he just came up with a riff yesterday and we're supposed to rehearse the set and we spent like an hour just I'm like I really like this riff, we need to like work on this because like I don't want to forget it,
Hmm.
or and then it'll be lost forever and that'll be like the hit that never sorry to answer I'm so sorry, I'm so
No,
long-winded with
that's
these
okay.
answers. But yeah, as far as the songwriting goes, like yes, sometimes jamming in the room, sometimes you have an idea and you just record it on your own, and a lot of times when I'm writing lyrics, I'm so critical about the lyrics or what I'm trying to say. Not to the point where I'm like artsy fartsy, but like I'm like sometimes I have nothing and then I'll be at work because I also like wait tables. And of
Hmm.
course it'll be during like a busy shift. I'm like I'll like a line and I'm like um I'll have to take a moment and write something down. Or sometimes I'll use my phone and just sing a line. I'm like, this is a great line. And then y'all hear it later and I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? Or like I don't know the melody. I'm like, it doesn't sound good. I'm like, but a little bit, sorry. It's a little bit of everything.
Hmm.
Some songs come super fast and some of them, like the intro to Autumn Leaves, I've had that intro for maybe like 5 to 10 years.
Wow.
And just nobody's I've never been in a band where like that worked.
Hmm.
Or it was always like sort of too metal for any band, like if it was a rock band or like a punk band, like it was just too metal. So I've had that riff, that little intro, and what I love about that was not just because I wrote it, but like I wanted something to be cool, like there's a video of Slash from the Use Your Illusion era, and he's playing like the Godfather theme, and I just always loved the way that sounded. So that intro is a little bit of like Slash's influence, and then also I was watching like the '89 Batman, so the Elfman music in the background was kind of like within those chords. So that's kind of yeah. I'm happy that intro's out. I'm like, I've had
Mhm.
it for 10 years and I've never been able to do anything with it. So I'm happy that it's out and it's recorded and it's, out in the world now.
Yeah, what does it feel like to put it out after so long?
It feels great. It's also sort of the song itself is kind of a call to one of the last bands. Like I said, it was sort of like a falling out. And I was like, it's it's kind of like my, I don't know, revenge in a way. Cause I'm like, there's so many songs I wrote within that group that just didn't gel with people.
Hmm.
So which made it a little bit easier to move on. I'm like, I have all this material that I can't do anything with because I also my solo project was a little more straightforward kind of rock stuff.
Hmm.
So I didn't write any gothy or like horror themed stuff for my other band because I'm like, I'm already in this band. So kind of cutting ties with everything or just like time management for myself has
Yeah.
been really like rewarding with this band. Just kind of like I'm not spread thin and songs are just riffs that we're basically doing nothing and just sitting in a hard drive or like, able to like, you know, flower or bloom if you
It must be nice to finally be able to use these things that you've had for a long while.
yeah, it's fun. And like I said, the song sort of itself just being a little more like skate punk fat like AFI fast is just also fun for like the 15, 16 year old like version of me that was like good job bro like yeah like and so it's I kind of like you know sort of like fan like a new flame like kind of not so much like the teen angst but that sort of just like this is just like fun music to play. I think sometimes as you get older when you're writing or anything creative like you just sort of I don't know. I guess I felt jaded, so to speak. I'm like, I don't know what I
Hmm.
want to say or what's fun anymore. Like I feel a little stagnant and like, oh yeah, playing punk rock fest again. Like, you know, getting carpal tunnel again. This would be fun. Like,
Glad you were able to reignite your passion.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's passion. It's important to have passion in what you're doing.
It is, especially if you're doing something creative, because
Hmm.
then you almost feel like you're, um, which is kind of what I felt like. If not, there's anything wrong if you're in a cover band and want to do things. It's totally cool. But for myself, I feel like if you're doing like a cover tribute circuit, it's just kind of like I felt like I'm doing a disservice to like my creative stuff,
Hmm.
you know? And then I'm just and then you're like, cool, I'm getting paid and I'm sort of paying rent with this, but now it's almost like I'm working a 9 to 5 and this was supposed to be fun
Yeah,
kind of
it just
thing.
wasn't for you.
So yeah. So like yeah, this is fun. This is great.
Yeah. So, what advice would you have for somebody who's kind of starting a band?
Um advice. Find people that are as passionate as you are about something. They may not necessarily, I don't know, sorry, that's such a loaded question because I've been in so many bands and there's so many, and I'm definitely a problem in a band. I'm very like hyper focused on things. Like I'll do anything. Like if we have a show tomorrow, like I'm just the guy that like I will trade my shift to work. I will sell a guitar so we can get a new bass cab or something. Like I'm just like, this needs to work.
Hmm.
And but then there's also like I said, a lot of the guys in my band, we're all kind of introverts. So it would be helpful if you found someone who's a little more extroverted that's good at just bringing people to the shows because if you're all introverts, you're all just sitting there writing great music, but you know, you need to be social. Sorry, more advice for me, man. You need to be patient with people. I mean, it's just like any other relationship. You have to know like some people work better with other ways. Like I'm the type of person that like I'm very, tunnel vision that
Hmm.
like if something's wrong and you don't tell me, hey, like I have a problem with the way you talk about this, or like I feel like you're whatever, like I just won't know because I'm just
Hmm.
so like this is the goal. I don't care. Like, I don't care if we fight right before the show. When I hear one, two, three, four, like we're gonna play a show and we're gonna kick ass. But not
Mhm.
everybody is like that. Some people might not like, I don't like the way you talk to me. Um, so you have to get, it's just like any relationship. You have to
Mhm.
get to know each other. You have to, and when it's not working, that doesn't mean you need to stay. That's also my problem. I will stay until like, the wheels fall off. And then you're sort of left, you know, because life is short.
Yeah.
And and sometimes when you should have left in like 2 months, like it's been like 5 or 6 years. But and you know what? And change is great. Like we lost a bass player and Gecko is awesome. And then he introduced us to Liz, who introduced me to like, do you do interviews? And I'm like, no. She's like, well, you need to do interviews. I'm like, okay. She's like, I'm gonna just send you people and you're gonna do interviews. I'm like, okay. And now we're here talking.
Yeah.
So like, change is good, even if it feels uncomfortable or like, maybe because we're artists, it's just like it feels like the end of the world and I'll never write a new better song or I'll never be in a better band kind of thing. But
Mhm.
change is great. And I I think that's when I write the best. I think most creative people like if everything was sunshine and rainbows, then it would be boring.
Yeah.
There'd be
I
nothing to talk about.
feel like a lot of music genres would not exist if it was like that too.
No. So which since you brought up music genres, like I would make a joke in like one of the last bands because I was singing mostly Danzig stuff and
Mhm.
I can be a hothead. And I'm just like, we sing songs about like blood and guts and I yell like Danzig. Like, do you it comes from somewhere. So I digress.
Yeah, so going forward, how many singles are you guys going to put out?
Um, well, we have four ready to go right now. And I think the goal is to just keep writing. So
Mhm.
hopefully by the end of the year, we should have enough for an album. Like I'd like to release a song a month, or like I said, we're new, so I'll probably
Mhm.
probably release like the Wolfman and Bloody Mary as soon as they're ready, you
Yeah.
know. And we also have an EP that I did with Stevie D from Buckcherry, and it's a little more crooner-ish, kind of 50s rock punk
Mhm.
in a way. And that was also kind of like I have a lot of music that's kind of just been sort of shelved because
Mhm.
I was like, I just didn't want to be a solo artist. I know some people can be, but I'm like, I'm definitely not as cool as like Bowie or so. And I always just felt that was kind of cheesy. And since I was on a label that went bankrupt, and then I got all this music back, so I just haven't re-released anything because I was like, I don't want to. I need a new band. So I think we're gonna release some stuff under Vesper Rose. I don't know. Maybe we'll do that for the summer, just kind of
Mhm.
in between um, the newer sort of heavier-ish stuff that we have. So that might come out in the summer. I just got to check in with Stevie and see if that's cool. That we,
Well, that's exciting if it does come out.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, before I ask you the last question, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about or mention?
Um, I guess since we're in like a social media age, if you guys like what you hear, you think that some of those influences I mentioned are up your alley, then yeah, official Vesper Rose on Instagram. You can find Autumn Leaves out on like Spotify, iTunes, like anywhere that's streaming stuff. Um, let's see, March 23rd, this Sunday, we're going to play Mi Vida Loca Bar with Project Skeleton and Decades. Those are both really good bands. I know both of them, and that should be a fun show. And then our next big show is going to be at Bar Sinister May 31st. So after that, we're still just kind of booking and, kind of playing anywhere,
Mhm.
anywhere people will have us just, kind of put the name out there and hopefully, we can make a little bit of a splash for the summer.
Huh.
Mhm.
I'm sure you will.
Well, thank you.
So the last question is, what is the soundtrack of your life?
The soundtrack of like one song or this several.
It's however you want to answer it because it is your life.
Oh, my life.
Just I know is not helpful answer, but
Um, I guess it would have to be probably the way I write like playlists. Like it's there's I would probably want to like start from like the beginning or something. Like I got into music really because of my father.
Mhm.
Like he'd always play like The Cure, the Violent Femmes, and like Eric Clapton, like what have you. But when I started playing guitar, and he doesn't play an instrument. He just like knows a lot about music. And he was like, "Oh, if you're gonna play guitar and you're gonna be in a punk band, then you listen to like the Ramones, and like every song is like 1 minute. Like Joey Ramone doesn't even breathe. Like you just and he would just kind of like they went in this rabbit hole of stuff my father listened to, and like Social Distortion, and um, so it'd probably be like punk stuff, but I also love you know Elvis. I love Dwight Yoakam. Um, maybe end with like Andrea Bocelli's like "Time to Say Goodbye" or something, just to make it funny. Um, I don't know. That's such a rough question. I don't know. It'd probably be fun. There would be some sad stuff maybe. Um, Soundtrack of my life. I don't know anything by Guns N' Roses. They're my favorite band. They're kind of the band that like I started playing guitar and then like I got into like Johnny Thunders because of
Mhm.
like the spaghetti incident and the Misfits and hmm, I'm sorry. I don't know. This is a loaded question. Um,
It is. It's a hard question.
it would be interesting. I don't know. I would just have to make a playlist. I can't say there's one song. There's too much like music. There's too much outside of like alternative or rock stuff.
Mhm.
Like maybe because I grew up in Virginia and I'm kind of a country boy, so I'm sure when I'm blasting Dwight Yoakam like in West Hollywood, it probably look kind of odd to people. I am a little white or off-white trash, I guess. My mom's Korean, my dad's white, so it'd probably be a little odd. Um, yeah, sorry, that doesn't really answer your question, but
That's
it
okay.
would be a long playlist. It would take you a couple days to get through, probably.
That is a long playlist. Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today.
And thank you for talking to me. You. This was very painless. I appreciate it. Hopefully I will be better at doing interviews when we talk next time.
You are
Hopefully we
great.
talk next time.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much.
Listeners, go check them out and don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Blue Sky, and TikTok at STLR's Podcast. Thanks for listening.